Okay, so we are live and we're going to watch another episode of Batman the Animated Series. And this episode is The Clock King, which is another episode where they took a villain who, maybe was associated with more cheesiness and camp, from the 1960s television series, and made him into a much more psychologically interesting and a much more intimidating villain. Uh, Batman the Animated Series was really good at doing this. So yeah, the Clock King actually has an interesting history before uh, Batman the Animated Series. He actually was, I think, more of a Green Arrow villain, and sometimes it's called the Clock. So I believe the villain was kind of loosely on the Batman television series based off of that character. Uh, and that episode is noteworthy because it was the episode that was written by, well, the two-part episode written by Batman's true creator, Bob Kane. Hi, Aunt June. Look, my Aunt June's watching, so she must have not only liked and subscribed and all that fun stuff, but also she must have hit the little bell so she knows when I'm going live, because I haven't even been on that long. So if you want to be cool like my Aunt June and not be left out, hit the little bell down there, and that'll let you know when I'm going live if you want to catch these live streams. So yeah, Bill Finger wrote that episode, and it was not because he had any sort of. It's not because the people making the TV show were like, "Ooh, let's get the guy who wrote the comics." It was because he had connections. He knew a guy who wrote for TV and wanted to write for the show, and was like, "Oh yeah, my friend Bill's going to write it with me." I don't even know if the people doing the TV show knew that it was the same Bill Finger from the comics. But yeah, Bill Finger wrote the Clock King two-parter on the classic Adam West Batman television show, and I think that's where the association with the Clock King and Batman really began. So this character is almost a completely different character from either the character that we know of from the comics or the character that we knew from the television series. So now on a later Batman animated series called The Brave and the Bold, and if you haven't watched that one, you should. Their version of the Clock King was a combination of the comic book version, where he had the crazy comic book costume, where it was this blue and green costume with a hood and a cape, and he had like a mask that looked like the face of a clock. They combined those two characters together, so there's a point where one of our heroes punches Clock King right in his clock face, and it falls off, and it looks like the actor from the television series. I just saw YouTube pop up on my phone. Yeah, because she hit the little bell. So make sure you hit the little bell if you want to catch these, and that'll give you your push notifications, just like what happened with my Aunt June. So if you want to be cool like my Aunt June, do that. Anyway, I was not exactly jazzed about when I first saw this episode was coming up. Like, oh, the Clock King, couldn't they have done like a cooler villain? I really wanted to get to those Two-Face episodes, man. Two-Face was the one I was excited about. But don't worry, Two-Face is just a few more episodes away. We got the next episode after this one, we Last Laugh, which is a Joker episode. And then the next episode after that is Eternal Youth, which is a Poison Ivy episode. And then finally we get Two-Face Parts 1 and Part 2. So I was really looking forward to seeing those. And then after that, we got Fear of Victory, which is another Scarecrow episode. I've got Batman in My Basement, which I believe is our first Penguin episode. Surprised it took him so long to get to Penguin, since he was hot off the heels of Batman Returns. Vendetta is Killer Croc. Prophecy of Doom is another with no comic book villains. The Forgotten has no comic book villains. It's a shame those got lumped together like that. Then we got Mad as a Hatter, 3 guesses who the villain is in that one. The Cape and Cowl Conspiracy, which actually does have a comic book villain, but you wouldn't know it because he was a one-shot comic book villain. We'll discuss that when we get to it. Perchance to Dream. Oh, but that's a spoiler, isn't it? The Underdwellers has no comic book villain. Night of the Ninja introduces a new villain to the animated series, and a really good one. I think he's probably one of the best villains that B-TAS has ever given us. Strange Secret of Bruce Wayne is a Hugo Strange episode. Tiger Tiger is a Catwoman episode, but she's not the villain. Dreams in Darkness, that one's Scarecrow. Beware the Grey Ghost is the episode that guest stars Adam West. Cat Scratch Fever, you should figure that one out. I Am the Night is one of my favorite episodes. Has no comic book villains in it, really, but it's a really good one. And if you're sick of episodes that don't have any more comic book villains, episode 35 will be Almost Got 'Em. And that's got so many comic book villains in it, which is probably why it's regarded as such a fan favorite episode. So, God, I've been talking for over 6 minutes and we haven't even started the episode yet. But I hope all that preamble was worth it. Let's go ahead and start with the Clock King, and we'll see how skilled the people behind this series are at taking what previously was just kind of a goofy villain nobody really cared about and turning him into something really cool. You've been talking about this episode for precisely 6 minutes and 45 seconds, and you haven't even started the episode yet. I do really like this arrangement of the Danny Elfman Batman theme, which is, kind of Mickey Mouse to fit the action here. Danny Elfman's Batman theme is such a versatile piece of music. It can be used in so many ways. I like bits of score that can be used in different ways. It can be scary, it can be heroic, it can be romantic, it can be comedic. Written by David Weiss and directed by my boy Kevin Altieri. All right, go Am. Oh, Gotham. Okay. It's kind of a nice in joke though. Like, I don't know if they meant for it to be this way, but go AM, the morning commute. Filthy subway. And there's Hamilton Hill.
Good morning, Hill. Oh, good morning, Fugit. Temple Fugit.
For anyone wondering why the mayor is riding the subway, he says counselor. So he's not mayor yet. He's still a lawyer. But you have to pay attention. You have to pay attention and pick up on these things. Yeah, my episode was 6 minutes behind schedule. Tightly wound, Clock King.
$20 million judgment against my company. My attorney has appealed, but if you lose, it's the end of everything. Temple, let me give you some advice. I'm a lawyer. Trust me, I know. If that judge sees you looking as tense and haggard as you are now, he'll think you were up to something. Loosen up. Do something to relax before you go to court. Get out of your routine for a few minutes. A fourth every day at 3 on the dot.
Yeah.
And take that 3:15. Oh, my schedule.
The acting there, like 15 minutes late.
It'll make a new man up.
Oh, you don't know how right you are, Hammy. So, Temple Fugit, which is the name that they've given to the Clock King in his former life. That's a play on the term Tempest Fugit.
37 pages. That would take a copy of exactly 1 minute and 49 seconds. One more delay like this, and you're fired.
Your coffee, sir, and those court documents you requested.
Take your coffee, make it 3:15. And out of the office. Put that in a thermos, Miss Perkins.
Mhm. We don't get a whole lot of daylight scenes in the early episodes. He doesn't even know what to do. Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock.
You little brats.
All his papers, all his important papers scattered to the wind.
No, don't do this to me.
The one time he decides to break from his routine. So now he's late for court, and his papers are all ruined, and the judge looks like Simon Stagg.
No, you can't. I'll be ruined. Then perhaps this will take over the day on time.
You should be on time for a change. Womp womp. Oh, what a great shot. For those of you wondering why I point out anytime, ooh, it's a Kevin Altieri episode, it's because of stuff like that. Like on an episode that's on a series that's full of great animation directors, Kevin Altieri is one that stands above the pack. I don't know if he's the best director Batman the Animated Series had, but he's certainly up there. And I kind of feel like he's one that doesn't get enough credit. Everybody talks about how great, a writer Paul Dini is and what a visionary producer Bruce Timm was, but Kevin Altieri is a dude who deserves like a lot of credit for this show being the success that it was.
You were in a hurry to get food. You'd be ahead.
It was like Alfred in the valet outfit.
I take it taxi drivers are no longer required to obey traffic signals. Why more?
I see enough taxi drivers driving around while I'm out.
Look,
I can agree with that.
the traffic signals are malfunction.
Well, at least the don't walk guy isn't getting into a fight with the walk guy. What was up with that scene in Superman 3? Like, traffic signals don't work that way. Like I was like 8 years old when I first saw Superman 3, and even then I'm like, really?
They are over the hill. Nothing works right in the
They're over the hill, like that.
Yeah, this can not go for this campaign. No, it doesn't. That's exactly the point.
Oh, he sees somebody on a rooftop. I just drew a funny face on the banner.
Another piece of graffiti? Is this somebody's idea?
Two bad neighbors on The Simpsons. One bad mayor. Time for a change, Buck King. That's a really nice bit with him changing into Batman as he runs up the stairs. Kind of similar to something they might have done with Clark Kent in the old Fleischer Superman cartoons.
I suppose you want to know why I brought downtown Gotham to a stand.
Clock King's super villain costume is
because I'm a civic-minded citizen.
pretty subtle. He's basically still wearing the same clothes he wore when he was a businessman. Only now he's got some glasses with a watch face and the lens, and he's got this cool cane that looks like the hand of a watch.
Talk. I don't know what to tell you, Batman, except perhaps that the 9:15 is always 6 minutes early.
His look is kind of reminiscent of the Riddler, but we haven't actually seen the Riddler yet.
Creep with the clocks did sabotage the entire traffic system. He had to have come here to do it. Wait here.
Creep with the Clocks is not as catchy a name as Clock King.
My pleasure. This is what I'm flying back at it. You know, go.
Sassy Alfred is the best Alfred. So he just blew up the whole freaking mainframe. And Batman's found a clue. Old school pocket watch.
What kind of saboteur uses a $6,000 Metronix to trigger a time bomb? Saboteur? Too much money? Most jewelry stores register the serial numbers of the Metronixes they sell. Let's see what the police database turns up.
You know, I know that the show was called Batman, the animated series, and you want to have your character in costume. But he just pretty much wore his Batman costume just to go and look at that thing.
It appears
He didn't even do any real Batmaning. It's weird to see, like, Batman in the back of the limo during the daytime. I think this is the first time we've seen Batman in his Batman costume out during the daytime. Although it won't be the last. They'll do it a few more times. And check out the sign in the background. They're going to zoom in on it, make sure we see it. De-elect Mayor Hill. Toth Street. Alex Toth being a very famous comic book artist and animation designer. He designed Super Friends.
There's been a slight backlash just like 6 o'clock between Schiff and West of Node.
Schiff, Robinson, and Moldor, all people who worked on Batman comics during the Golden and Silver Ages. But pay attention anytime they say the names of streets on this show, because it's usually somebody who worked on the comic book. Oh, it's on the corner of Adams and O'Neill. That kind of thing. Quarter. Uh-oh.
Sorry I couldn't be with you in person, Batman, but I'm gonna train that. This box contains a high-speed vacuum pump. I know you've got all kinds of gas masks, so I'm putting you out of my misery by simply removing all the oxygen from the room.
Batman with the eyebrows.
The process will take 15 minutes, which is exactly 17 minutes less than the time it would take you to burn through the door with that oxy-acetylene torch of yours. Oh, and I don't recommend trying to open the pump out. It's rigged with a vibration-sensitive explosive. Of course, if you want to get close to this, that's fine with me. Either way, it's time to say adieu, Batman.
Oh, he's thought of everything. Almost everything. So, and giving him that tape recorder. He's giving him exactly the thing that he needs to get out of this situation. This is why I love Batman. This is why Batman is my favorite character. It's because of his cunning and his resourcefulness, and that he can figure out ways to get out of problems. He's not just intelligent, he's very clever. So he's good at thinking on his feet and figuring things out.
To make our subway simpler and more efficient. And so I declare Gotham Central Station officially open. Let the first train arrive.
It's interesting how much screen time the mayor gets on this show. He's using the money like sandbags. He's gonna use the bomb to blow his way out of the bomb that's supposed to be the thing that's gonna kill him if he messes with that air pump. He's not even as good as Mussolini. Oh.
Where the black wolf is, here comes some more of our mayor's incompetence.
God, he sounds like me talking about Robert Pattinson Batman. And it makes sense that Fugit would use the subway as a weapon against Hill, because remember, that was where him and Hill knew each other from, was from the subway. Come on, Batman, you can do it. Almost no air left. Fugit was smart and clever and figured out a good death trap to take out Batman, but Batman was smarter and more clever. I was watching an episode of Doctor Who once, and the doctor says, there's one thing you never, ever put in a trap. And I said, Batman! And then the doctor says, me. And I'm like, okay, two things you never put in a trap. Now look at the hands on the clock versus his cane.
Those hands will come together, and you'll be crushed like an insect.
So you specifically made his hands look, his cane look like the hands of this clock.
I don't know what you're talking about.
3:15. He doesn't remember.
At 3:15.
Hill doesn't even remember. It was just some conversation he had years ago. But for Fugit, it was something that just changed his entire life.
I swear I was only trying to help. Don't hand me that. You did it on purpose. The plaintiffs were represented by your law firm, Mr. Mayor. I had nothing to do with that case, Fugit. Liar. Not that it matters anymore. Now that I have an appointment to keep at 3:15 precisely with the Grim Reaper.
Batman villain's got to be so dramatic. He could have just shot Hamilton in the head. Ha! Ha! Clean his clock. They say he doesn't have a sense of humor. That cane ain't just for show. Clock King does look a little bit like Harold Lloyd, though, doesn't he? Come to think of it. Oh, this is just such a great sequence. This is another example of the sort of thing I'm talking about when I say Kevin Altieri was just the best.
He did work.
He made me late. It's pretty horrifying when you think about it, because those hands aren't actually going to meet. They're just going to kind of sweep past each other. So it's not like it's going to crush him. It's basically going to cut his arm and his leg off. Then he's going to be like falling off of that thing, bleeding out, missing 2 major limbs. And again, Fugit could have just shot him. But no, he's got to be all extra, like a Batman villain. His anal retentiveness is his superpower. Like, he just knows, like, how long it takes anybody to do anything. He's studied Batman so much.
I studied news footage of you, and I know that it takes you exactly a 20th of a second from the total cut.
But it only takes me a 30th of a second
To do this. It does not take a lot to wreck that whole thing, does it? Just a little bit of metal stuck in the gears.
You grab the stick. All comes down, Batman. You of all people should know. There's always a way out.
It's like that's the end of him. Looks like. But he'll be back. Not only will we get a second episode of the Clock King as a villain on Batman the Animated Series, but he will also make an appearance on Justice League. Specifically, he'll be in the Justice League Unlimited episode Task Force X.
Well, at least made a mistake.
No trace of this Clock King ball.
How can anyone survive a wreck like this?
If I could, he could.
And you think we'll hear from him again?
I wouldn't be surprised, Commissioner. In fact, I'd say it's only a matter of time.
And he would be right. All right, so that was the Clock King, and I think you'll agree with me when I say that that was one of the better episodes. Dang it, I hit the wrong button again. One of the better episodes of the show. It's nice that they put a lot of effort into taking, like, you know, some second, even third string villains, and that's not the one I wanted to hit either, and building them up to be something a little more major. It's nice to build on the rogues gallery, as it were. And, you know, Clock King was a character that, like, nobody was really doing a whole lot with at that time. So, you know, to bring him back and turn him into something special, well, that's just part of what made this show so special, I think. So, we're okay. Okay, so here we go. And my finger on the actual pause button this time. So here we go. Alan Rations is the voice of the Clock King, who's not a name that I'm particularly familiar with, but damned if he didn't do a good job. So yeah, and then the rest of our cast, we have Jeff Bennett as Office Boy, and then everybody else is, the usual suspects: Kevin Conroy, Lloyd Bachner as Mayor Hill, Bob Hastings as Commissioner Gordon, Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. as Alfred, and Mary Devon as Summer Gleason. So yeah, that was the Clock King. Thank you for watching along with me. The next episode will be The Last Laugh, which is the second Joker episode to air, and I think the second Joker episode to be produced, even though the first episode to be produced with the Joker was not the first to be aired, because that was Christmas with the Joker. So they sat on that till Christmas time. But we'll talk more about that when that comes up. So tomorrow, I'll be watching The Last Laugh. Oh, bye, Aunt June. We'll see you next time. So yeah, tomorrow I'll be watching The Last Laugh. Tomorrow I've also got a new action figure to unbox for us. It's another Tim Drake Robin. This is the one that's in the traditional colors. This is the one I've been looking forward to. I would do it today, but for whatever reason, I've noticed videos on Sundays don't tend to get as many views, and this one deserves to get a lot of views. So we're gonna save that one for Monday. So that's 2 videos that you've got to look forward to from me. And if you want to make sure that you see them, again, please make sure you like and subscribe and hit the little bell if you want to be warned whenever I'm going to go live. And we will talk to you next time. Bye.